42-35. LSU gets a win over the Florida Gators, and that man right there, Jaden Daniels. I was on the call for this game, probably the second greatest individual performance I've ever seen on a football field in person. Got to see it in person. Unbelievable.
Second. You can't use that. All right, so who's first? You can't just throw out second and not tell us you're first.
Reese Udinski, VMI quarterback at Samford. I was calling the game spring after COVID. Threw for over 400 yards, threw for 7 touchdown passes, tore his ACL in the game, came back 2 series later, braced up, went to overtime, not only threw the game-winning touchdown in overtime, but then the game-winning 2-point conversion in overtime. Best individual performance I've ever seen. Just saying.
I mean, I feel like it's made up at this point. But it's all right, though. This guy's stats were not. All right, Jaden Daniels, 372 in the air, 230. I mean, he had 200 yards rushing by like the third quarter. Florida had no answers for this guy, and clearly they do not watch our show, Cole. Sorry, I apologize about that. You're so controversial over here. And, I guess you maybe a similar haircut. But you came on home, though. It's all good. But with all that being said, I think you got a couple of different things you want to show us.
One thing I did notice in this game from the Florida defense, but first, before we leave that graphic, the only player in the history of the FBS with 350 and 200. Ever! No other player has ever done it.
Yeah.
In the history of college football.
Yeah. Even more than your guy from
And some people say he's not the Heisman frontrunner right now. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to show you some plays from Jaden Daniels. There's a lot that's impressive, but can we just get maybe like a whiff counter or a missed tackle counter here?
I mean, the rush plan was so bad, I don't even know if I should count them or not. They're just all behind the quarterback.
You said sidelines are undefeated.
Sideline is undefeated.
Out of bounds. So,
yes.
Okay, we won't count a miss on that one then. Okay. Well,
going to count, I'd say 2 on that one.
Okay, good news for this segment. He wasn't even close to done. If he's standing right in front of you and he's giving you the little wah, 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 right in front of you, even if this out of bounds is right there, you can't just let that happen, right? I mean,
no, I'm gonna push him or something. He needs something. He can't just run for 30 yards and not get touched and then go out of bounds on his own choice.
Roman, I have good news for you.
What's that?
He wasn't done.
So, Cole, whenever you start to see like the form of your run start to change when you're chasing guys, you're about to pull a hammer. Quad's about to go. The hamstrings.
So when the gait changes, that means injuries coming?
That's when they should just lay out. Or you stop running to get off the tape. Because, like, right now, you're looking bad. You guys are not paying attention when I'm preaching to you over here. Dive! Lay out.
I did not know that.
Not show all your power, please.
I didn't know that gait change was an injury.
You got it's all the details. And they're showing themselves. When that gate starts to change, you start to...
I just thought that means you're getting beat so bad.
No. That means you about to blow.
Okay.
Something's about to go.
Well, guess what? I feel like we're going to have a couple on this play because we saved this on that play, I would say at least 4-ish, 6-ish, maybe.
Well, one guy had him twice.
Well, still 2.
Chalk it
up.
Also don't want you guys to know, if you dive, like, nobody ever questions your effort.
No.
And right there, I question at least 3 guys' effort on that play. So if you would have just dove, or what I like to say, dive, then we never question your effort. So learn these things, guys. And do not, when you start to change your gait when you're running, it's probably about that time you should lay out.
What impresses you about his game the most? That speed we just saw, the ability to run away from guys?
It's the relentlessness in which he goes about this game. It's like you never get a time to relax because you're like, okay, only time you really get to relax is when he's handing the ball off to a running back. But other than that, though, this guy, Jaden Davis, always puts pressure on your defense. You have great coverage. He gets open and he runs next to it's 35 yards. You think you're playing, okay, we're just going to keep him tied in the pocket. He still is able to drop dimes, and that's why he has the leading receiver in all of the country and Malik Neighbors. He also has on the other side of Brian Thomas, the leading receiving and the leader in touchdowns for receivers in all of the nation as well. So it's weapons all over the place, and he is the main cog in this whole thing that's getting it done. And that's why they are the #1 offense in the country.
That's why he would be my #1 candidate for the Heisman Trophy right now. Jaden Daniels will be my leader for the Heisman Trophy, and you just kind of take a look. Marvin Harrison Jr., you're a great player. Congratulations. You're going to get drafted early and make a lot of money. Off the screen, as far as I'm concerned. Not a part of this guy. Malik Neighbors would be ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. for me. Bo Nix is having a heck of a year. 34 touchdowns responsible for. And he has 2 massive games still ahead. And then Michael Penix Jr. is also having a huge year for the Washington Huskies. Being undefeated helps. And that's where I get a little bit confused because actually I heard our colleague Desmond Howard on game day Saturday morning saying it's not about the stats and the numbers. It's about who you've defeated.
Hater.
No, he's got the trophy. And he has a vote. I'll never have a vote for that award. I'd have voted for Quentin Nelson #1 to win the thing. And Quentin Williams, by the way. I think both should have won it. That's why they're not going to give that to me. Orlando Pace should have won that.
I would say you definitely not going to get a vote right now.
For that. That's fine. I can have it. I got the Joe Moore Award. No, as far as I'm concerned, the wins, the losses things, I think it's a little, people make too much of it. It doesn't matter how many games you win, how many games you lose. It's most outstanding player. And how do you want to define that? How do you want to look at that? Most exciting? We just watched him run all over the Florida defense. Is it touch passes down the field? Because he's got that. Is it the most difficult to defend? Because if it's accuracy, arm strength, balls down the field, mobility, moving, design quarterback runs, I know if I had my choice of which guy I would least like to defend, Jaden Daniels is going to be that guy for me. So all that put together, Roman, I don't know how you make a case for anybody else to win the Heisman right now.
Well, it's the award definitely does not go to the guy least like you like to defend, because for me, I would say that would be Marvin Harrison Jr., the most scary guy, one-on-one. But I will say this, it is supposed to go to the best player in the country. And right now, the award over the last 8 years has turned to the best offensive player, or the player that has emerged the most for the best team.
Yeah.
And so all that being said, that is why Michael Penix Jr. is up there. That is why Bo Nix continues to remain in the conversation, and why Jaden Daniels still has to try and find a way to really showcase himself. And I think him not having a good defense has allowed him to do that.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I just wanted to point out in LSU's 3 losses, he's averaging 326 yards passing per game, 109 rushing yards per game, 9 touchdowns. That's the average of rushing and passing. And his defense has given up 47 points per game and 569 yards per game. Don't put the losses on him. Jaden Daniels wasn't the only one that put on a show this weekend. The